Have you ever wondered what the world would be like if there were no speed limits? Yeah, we're going to talk about limits today, so stick around. You are enjoying the Step Out and Thrive podcast. Welcome back to the Step Out and Thrive podcast. My name is Bethany B. Joy, and you are here. You can take off the label. If you're here, you're most likely a God-given dreamer who loves to lead other people to Jesus. You love to pour out. You love to give the best of yourself to other people. But sometimes when you walk into a room, you find yourself questioning if anybody actually knows who you are. A lot of times we can give out, but it's really hard for us to find safe places to connect. And that's why Step Out and Thrive is here, to help us experience communities like that, but then also to make sure that you can have a community of practice right like that in your area. That way you can continue to dare to do more than just survive and to step out and thrive in your calling. Love that you're here. We are right in the middle of our Rooted series, and today, like mentioned before, is all about limits. Okay, so the world would be kind of crazy if there were no speed limits. Now imagine life without limits. I know many times, at least if you're like me, you're thinking, well, that's kind of a good thing. It's not. It's really, just like with speeding limits are important, we all have limits that we really aren't meant to cross. In fact, some of the best fruitful lives are the most focused, meaning that you know your limits, you know what you can, how much you can do, and it's actually protecting you from overextending. And overextending is actually just not listening to the limits that God has for you and the right place. So a good story for me about this is that, you guys can probably imagine my story. There's lots of limits, but the one that actually came up for me as I was preparing for this episode kind of caught me off by surprise because it's a fairly new one that I made a space for myself to put. I don't always follow it, but I can definitely know my life is different now that I have it in place. When I adapted to being a single mom and deciding, yes, I was going to walk out this business journey, I went through a lot of time where I was working just crazy hours. I was trying to make sure that my guys were taken care of, that they had their homework taken care of, that they, had clothes on their body, deodorant, all the good stuff, that they had food on the table, just everything that they needed. I wanted to be present at their football games, at their drama rehearsals, all the stuff. I wanted to be present. But my clients needed me too, and my groups needed me. And so how in the world was I going to do all this? Well, once in a while, their dad would take them on Saturdays, and that would give me one day to really get my work done, or so I thought. Many years I actually spent like that, where, if somebody had them for a day, or if their dad took them for Saturday, I was able to work and get some very quiet time in and get my work done that I needed to for the week. And then I wondered why I was crashing to the point where I couldn't stay present for my clients, or I just couldn't be with them during the moments that they actually wanted to spend time with me. And you all know, as boys and kids get older, the time they actually want to spend with their parents is limited and limiting. So I knew that I needed to make a change. Well, it wasn't really until about October, November of last year that I realized that I did not have to work on the weekends, that I could actually take Saturday off, that I didn't have to do work. I went through a period of time where I actually got confused because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. No joke, I had to think of something else to do besides work, and it really caught me off guard. I didn't know what I was going to do. I remember trying to look on Amazon Prime Video to find something to watch and not finding anything really. I remember trying to take on new hobbies. There for a while, I just was cleaning like a while. I went through my whole entire closet, which is something I probably needed to do anyway. But I realized it wasn't really refueling me, and I was still in the same position that I was, and just moreover frustrated that I didn't get done what I wanted to get done. This kind of converse with the Sabbath as well. But for me, my limitation was that I realized I only had so much I could give. And I deserved to find ways that could refuel me. I deserve to find environments where I can go and just be and give myself permission to say no to some amazing activities. But just that I knew that I needed time where I can refuel and I could be. So for me, that now looks like Saturdays are the days sometimes I do work. Like for instance, this last weekend, I had a book signing, which was so cool. A community book signing, so there were a lot of other different authors there. And it was an event that went from like 9 a.m. all the way until close to 3 p.m., even closer to 4 p.m. by the time I got home. To say that I was exhausted was an understatement. It was like a hallway area. It was a great experience, but I was inside, and there were a bunch of us that had tables that were inside this little room. And to say that it echoed and it got loud, yeah, that's an understatement. And I'm learning, and just FYI, those of us that have hearing loss, yes, you do have to speak louder too, but there's a thing, and I don't remember what it's called, but when we're around loudness for a long time, it can really cause headaches, and for me, migraines. I should have known that this could have happened, but I didn't. But I did make the good choice about not going to a small group that I had to go to that I wanted to go to that evening. But I decided, you know what, I could already tell my body was getting like kind of tired. And so I spent the evening just watching some TV. I'm into this new series, not new to me series called Speechless. I don't know if you've heard of that or not. Anyway, I've recently discovered it, and I love that series. And so I watch 2, maybe 3 tops episodes, and that's just a way for me to unwind and laugh, and I just really enjoy that time to just be. Sometimes I even find myself listening to some calming music. I love listening to the radio. I mean, there's just different things where I'm just like, well, that evening I did do that, but I made the mistake of putting more audio into my ears. I started to get a headache, and then eventually it turned into a migraine, and all she wrote. But all to say, even after that happened, I knew that I could have gone to church the next morning, but I knew that my body was done. So I made sure that I slept in, and I gave my body the rest that it needed. And I didn't do a whole lot of work even on Sunday. I'm learning that I have limitations. I'm learning that I can learn to have fun in different ways. I'm learning that I do not need to work and do different things all the time. These are limits that I have placed on myself because I can't go 90 miles per hour all the time without running into things or actually getting in my own way. It goes back to something that we covered a couple episodes ago. In fact, the very first one. If I truly believe that I am loved for who I am, I don't need to do more to prove that to anybody else. It really goes back to, who am I rooted in? Who do I get my worth and my value from? So I've learned to do that. Our house, once in a while, okay, maybe a lot, with 3 boys living here, can be a little messy. There are times when I have to say no to clients because I want to be present with my boys. There's also times that I have to say no to my boys because a client really needs me. But I feel like I've gotten it a lot better with my limits, where it really does go God, me, my boys, and my clients. And my boys and my clients are not on the same level. And so that's had to be figured out too. So we're still learning. Things have to adapt as things change, but it's limits that I'm glad I put in place. So, what are some limits that you have in your life? What are some limits that you may need to set? What are the stories that these limits or lack of limits have to say about you? That's kind of our question and discernment this week for our Step Out and Thrive group. If you want to be a part of that discussion, well, join the free tier of the community. Every week we have a post that goes live all about the podcast, and you get a chance to respond. It's not on Facebook. I know some people don't get that, but I wanted to create a community that was off of Facebook, off of the craziness. So it really is private. It's small. We only have about 30 to 40 people in there right now. And it's just a really safe place where you can come and just have others see you, used to see other people, and know that you're not alone. Would love to see you there. It's community.stepoutandthrive.com, or you can just go to stepoutandthrive.com and click on the Join the Community link. We'd love to have you. And as always, dare to do more than just survive. Step out and thrive. See you guys back here next week. Bye. Thanks for enjoying today's Step Out and Thrive podcast, the one place that you can always count to dare to do more than just survive, to step out and thrive. As always, for more information, please check out BethanyBJoy.com or stepoutandthrive.com.